Please, sit down. So at least I think 3 or 4 times, I think, this kind of meeting. And then through television to communicate. And the brothers, sisters in Thailand, in Vietnam itself. So I always, telling people we are the same human being. Actually, 7 billion human beings. Translation? Already? Oh. Oh. So actually, I totally dedicated, try to promote the sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. Is it because now I think too much problem, including killing. And the poor people always neglected. Even you see many children dying due to lack of facility, medical, like that. And in many places, the poor people suffer very much. Then the rich people also, you see, mentally not necessarily happy, peaceful. So that's today's world. Yet, we human beings, basically, now according some scientists, basic human nature is more compassionate. Obviously, you see, we all born from our mother. And everybody, 7 billion human beings, survived with mother's affection or your friends' affection. Without that, we can't survive. So that's the way to start our life. So at the time of death, dying, surrounded by affectionate people, with sort of compassionate atmosphere, then the dying person much happier. So our life as a social animal, from birth till death, human loving kindness is very essential. Then, today's world, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of suffering, killing, dying. Nowadays, with too much emphasis on the secondary level of differences, different nationality, different religion. Within same religion, same sort of nationality, again you should make a distinction, poorer section of people, richer people, like that. I think with too much emphasis on secondary level of differences. So create a lot of problem. So for this problem, medicine, there is no medicine or nothing except deeper level, we all same human being. So oneness of humanity. And then it's a different nationality, secondary level. Different religious faith, secondary level. Oh, you Vietnamese and Chinese. If you too much emphasis, we are Vietnamese, they are Chinese. Then within Vietnamese, they are Buddhist, they are Christian. Problem. You see, consider we are same human being, and in your case, same Vietnamese, same human being. We also, you see, suffer under some Chinese tight control. But we never sort of encouraging Tibetan. We should not look Chinese as something negative. Chinese also human brothers, sisters. Over 1,000 years, we live side by side. So our future should keep that sort of the spirit. We are brotherhood, sisterhood. And then the problem within that sort of atmosphere, we can easily solve. Too much consider we and they are enemy. That's, I think, several thousand years since we human being, you see, exist the concept of we and they. As a result, I think human history, a lot of war, a lot of violence. What result? Suffering, suffering, suffering. And from religious viewpoint, from Buddhist viewpoint, more sin, more sin. Killing is, very sinful, like that. So, my commitment as a human being to try to promote a sense of oneness of 7 billion human beings. So you, Vietnamese brothers, sisters, and a few European there. So we are same human being. So please think, if we develop, I think, concept of one world, I think much problem can reduce, like that. Then my second commitment is try to promote religious harmony. All major different religious tradition, different philosophy, certain different concept, but all carry same message of love, forgiveness, tolerance. So use is a different sort of philosophy or different concept. Some say there is God, some say no God, some say this very life created by God, no previous life. But some say, no beginning of life, life after life. So there is differences, but the purpose is same. The concept of God is to promote love, kindness, loving kindness thinking. God, infinite love. So God is like our Father. And I think concept just one life, this life created by God, is that concept, I think, very powerful to develop the sense of intimacy with God. This very life created by God. So then we are truly children of God. at least entire humanity, 7 billion human beings, are children of one Father. And then God's nature is infinite love. So we are children of that kind of God. So that gives us conviction. Oh, we must be more compassionate person. Like that. So that concept also very good. Then non-theistic religion, no God, rather oneself as a creator. So self-creation. So one's own sort of experience or life entirely depend on oneself. So you should be more kind person, more compassionate person. Through that way, your life become much more happier. And wherever you live, if you keep compassion feeling there, then all your surrounding, including birds, animals, also enjoy peaceful. And whenever, you see, when I was in Lhasa, at young, you see some birds, some people feeding these birds. So when you see that person enter the wall, yellow wall, the person sort of step, top. The bird already is showing some kind of excitement. So these poor animal, but very much appreciate loving kindness. Then some people, not that kind of attitude, then when such person, you see, coming, these birds try to fly from cage. They cannot because of fly in cage, but they shouting. So even animal make distinction, loving kindness and anger. So now we are human being. Basic human nature, as I mentioned earlier, more compassionate nature. So therefore, all major religious tradition, I usually describe religion of human being. Then naturally, basic human value is human compassion. Therefore, all human religion now carrying or teaching of loving kindness. So therefore, there's a different philosophy, it's a different method, but same goal. Therefore, we must respect all major religious tradition. Intellectual level, some discussions, some argument, that's okay. Even within Buddhist, you see, in Nalanda Sarvaswati institution, at least 4 different schools of thought. So through centuries, a lot of discussions in philosophical field. That's helpful to further develop our sort of brain. So discussion, a logical sort of approach, very useful. Not use weapon, but logical, the mental, intellectual level, discuss, argument. It's very helpful. I think in India, when you see the Nalanda institution there, the scholars from Nalanda, there's Buddhist scholar, and you see non-Buddhist scholar. Now some of these is a text wrote by Nalanda master. We can see serious discussion with Buddhist scholar, non-Buddhist scholar, within Buddhist scholar. So therefore, the discussion, argument is, I think, very helpful to further develop our brain. So therefore, I consider logic is very important. The Nalanda master, all these masters, when they explain about Buddha Dharma, Buddhist philosophy, always, use logical approach. So when we used to follow logic, it is very important question. In order to develop question, skeptical. If someone say, we should not act like yes minister, whatever Lama or some sort of spiritual leader say, or yes, that's wrong. We have to we have to keep the position when Lama says something. Why? How? That's very important. So the Nalanda masters, some Nalanda master, they rejected some Buddha's own teaching. If you accept this Buddhist teaching literally, it goes against the reason. Therefore, we must reject even these certain sort of texts taught by Buddha, but we should reject because it goes against the reason. Then we should understand Buddha taught this for a particular purpose. Okay. Like that. So, the old major tradition, carry same message of love, tolerance, forgiveness, contentment. I have sort of occasion visit some Christian monastery or nunnery in Italy and France, like that. So these monks and nuns, their way of life very simple, very simplicity, very simple. Then sometimes I felt, we Tibetan Lama, Tibetan monk, may be more luxurious. So simplicity, contentment. I think some of these monk or Christian monks, nunnery, I think really they practice that. Wonderful. And then tolerance. Tolerance is the basis of self-discipline. No matter what the other person done, you should keep compassion. If the other person really, carry one gun, then you have to fight. You have to run away. Very dangerous. If gun coming, say compassion. It is foolish. Like that. So religious tolerance. In this country, India, I think truly example. All major world religious traditions live together in this country. Occasionally some problem, but that's understandable. But overall, I think very harmony, mutual respect, like that. That's my second commitment. So my brothers, sisters here, please keep in your mind these things. Firstly, as a human being, try to share with your friend. It is important to have the sense of oneness of entire 7 billion human beings. Then second, try to promote religious harmony. Okay. So that I want to share with you. Now some questions.
Raise your hands, please.
네 전화 다요 그래. 차원 실수. 여기 그래. 저 저거래. 니스타 마샤쇼. 니스타 마샤쇼에.
마이크 저러도 가지고.
오늘 니스크실 잘하잖아.
Thưa tất cả mọi người là
Use this one. This. Yeah, this is finishing battery. Battery bit 조셔.
저는 니스크님 잘하네.
thưa các anh chị,
시도가 니스크님.
mình đã tổng hợp các câu hỏi để hỏi hôm nay đó. Thì hôm nay lúc bây giờ thì mình ưu tiên cho ngoài Hà Nội, đầu trường Hà Nội trước ha, chị Hải ha. Khi mà mình đọc tên của anh chị nào có câu hỏi á, thì xin mời các anh chị đứng lên để chào Đức Ngài. Xong sau đó mình đặt câu hỏi và mời các anh chị ngồi xuống. Mình xin mời anh Nam Cường. Anh Nam Cường có đầu trường Hà Nội không ạ? Dạ, câu hỏi của anh Nam Cường là chúng con muốn sống có ích cho xã hội và cộng đồng, và trong quá trình nỗ lực thực hiện những tâm nguyện đó có nhiều thách thức tác động đến sự bình an trong tâm và khơi dậy sân si, dễ tạo nghiệp xấu. Xin Ngài cho lời khuyên để có thể sống cân bằng với lý tưởng ấy. Câu hỏi của anh Nam Cường ở Hà Nội ạ. Xin cảm ơn.
꿈자시. No. Share. Much better. Yes.
Your Holiness, this is a question of Mr. Nam Kuang from Hanoi.
Oh.
And
Please raise hand.
yeah,
Questioner.
yeah,
Okay.
yes. In daily life, if we would like to live a benefit life for community, a good life, but sometimes we face the difficulty that can make us become more anger and
Anger.
yes, and it may make us accumulate bad karma. So, what's your advice for us to live a life to benefit others, and at the same time keep the peace of mind and the equilibrium of our spirits and emotion?
As naturally, anger is one of sort of our emotion, part of our mind. And actually, anger is something when we face some problem, anger comes. Actually, you are supposed to protect yourself. But then, if we think seriously, the best way to protect yourself is peaceful mind. Anger, you see, although supposed to protect yourself, but anger comes, firstly, destroy your peace of mind. And constant anger, actually now some medical scientists, they say, eating our immune system. So anger is actually very harmful for our health. So then the problem which causing your anger, you see, that problem can solve without anger. So in any way, one side 100% sort of defeat, your side 100% victory, it's impossible. Whole society, whole our life depend on other. So their survival also, you see, depend on oneself. So that's the reality. So therefore, I think the angry sort of anger's way of thinking, you yourself something separate, and they are something negative, separate. That's wrong. So therefore, the reality, we have to sort of find a mutually agreeable solution. That's the only way, practical way. Okay. So whenever you find someone showing you some disagreement, then think from wider perspective. Then your anger reduces. So the very most important thing is we have to live side by side. That's the reality. Okay. Next question.
Xin mời đầu truyền thành phố Hồ Chí Minh ạ. Bạn Ái Lan ạ. Xã hội càng ngày càng hiện đại, người ta càng bị áp lực bởi sự thành đạt, kiếm thật nhiều tiền. Chúng ta nên ứng xử với những thách thức của cuộc sống như thế nào? Chúng ta nên làm gì đầu tiên khi đối mặt với các thách thức?
In modern life, we are more pressured to be successful and to earn.
Yes.
Yeah, earn more money, and we face certain challenge. What should we think as a first thinking when we face the challenge in life?
I think I already mentioned. See, we should be a realistic approach. In order to carry realistic approach, we should know the reality. So the problem when you face, yes, I agree, they are full of problems. Our human society, I think 7 billion human beings, no one without a problem. So therefore, you see, the problem is part of our life. So now best thing is, you you look at the problem more holistic way. One sort of serious sort of, the thing which you feel very uncomfortable. But that very thing, try to look from all different aspects or different angle, at least 4 dimension or 6 dimension. Then you will know the reality much better. And one obstacle, that also, you see, happened because of its own causes, conditions. Everything, as I mentioned earlier, interdependency. So once we get some sort of impression, or things not independent or absolute due to many other factors, then anger automatically reduces. Stress also reduces. Fear also reduces. One of my American friend, Aaron Beck, his name, Aaron Beck. Now his age, now over 100 years. So he not a religious person. I think a few decades, he helping people who mentally too much sort of stress because of anger. After sort of long time, few decades, this is his sort of experience, he concluded, told me, an angry person, look, the mainly human being, so-called enemy. The anger, you see, angry person, you see, looks that object which the person feel angry, 100% negative. But actually, 90% of that negativeness is mental projection. He mentioned like that. So that's the Buddhist concept also same. When gradually, you see, develop some kind of irritation, then your own mind creates very bad image. Then anger becomes stronger. So anger develop, you only looks one aspect. If you look from wider perspective and all different sort of aspects or sides, then anger, anger is one single pointed negative, that much exaggerated by your own anger. So now, obviously, I think the good friend, now, a few months, few years, very good friend. For example, husband, wife, at the beginning, too much excitement. And then eventually, due to some small sort of differences, then that excitement reduces. Then eventually anger comes. Then divorce. So this clearly shows the mental exaggeration. If this sort of person who feel you feel towards that person anger, the same person next few months or few years can become very good friend. So these negative emotion always one-sided, one-sided. So think that way. Okay. Then after all, you see, no matter how sort of difficult it is, we have to live that way. You cannot escape. Now I am 82-year-old person, now nearly 83. Whole my life full of problem. But I always look wider perspective. So in spite a lot of problem, I can maintain peace of mind. With peace of mind, smile. I always smile. Okay, thank you. Next question.
Dạ, câu hỏi kế tiếp có liên quan tới nụ cười của Đức Ngài là làm sao để Ngài có thể luôn luôn mỉm cười như một đứa trẻ như vậy? Câu hỏi này của anh Taman cho anh Sydney, hình như đang có mặt ở đây à? Dạ.
The question is, Your Holiness.
Oh, here.
Yes.
Oh, yes, okay.
No. How can you maintain all the time your laugh as a child?
Karsa. A child.
Laugh like a child.
So, firstly, I consider you all are brothers, sisters. Then I never consider I'm something special. I never consider that. If I consider I'm something special, I'm His Holiness Dalai Lama. I consider I'm something special. Then you have to sort of, 어서대 가서래, 빰보를 쳐고, 빰보스 가서래.
Fight.
So that actually, you yourself, now if I'm thinking, emphasis, I'm Dalai Lama, something special, then among the 7 billion human beings, only one Dalai Lama. So I get the feeling of loneliness. When I think I'm just a human being, out of 7 billion, just I'm one of them. Then, wherever I go, yes, human being. I'm meeting human being. I always easily become friend. whole, so from early morning, when I go outside, some Indian police always there. I always talk and teasing them.
No, teasing.
Teasing them. Some police with uniform say, when I smile, they not sort of response, smiling. Then I tease like this.
Tickling.
Then they smile. So we are same human being. That's really, I feel, source of my sort of inner peace and happiness, joyfulness, and a smile. When I was young, the 1954, 55, visited Peking. Many official function. Then 56 came to India. Again, you see many formal sort of official functions. Quite often, I feel very nervous. Nowadays, never feel nervous. Open. Clear. Like that. Then next question.
Xin mời chị Thu Thủy ạ. Câu hỏi của chị Thu Thủy là tại sao nghịch lý là hiện nay xã hội càng ngày càng hiện đại, vật chất càng ngày càng phát triển thì người ta càng trở nên cô đơn, và mặc dù là dân số càng ngày càng tăng, và một trong những cái biểu hiện đó là cái khuynh hướng sống ảo trên mạng xã hội. Thì xin hỏi Đức Ngài luôn, Đức Ngài có quan tâm đến Facebook không ạ?
The paradoxically phenomenon of the modern society is the more material life develop, and the more people, the more population growth, the more people feel lonely, and
more people what?
Feel lonely. Lonely.
Yes,
And the tendency to live with the social network, for example, Facebook, is considered as a more tendency for people. So, what would you what is your opinion, and do you use Facebook yourself?
Tingsan chingwa ya ge shiu chimba ine ji kejiang ge sowa shiu yung ge ra mi zo ji di ma yun ye che du cha ge ta de dan de ngo de bla sowa tin zu to ne mi de wa sha de shiu ji zo de ro chi yo res an ja rum shi ge dan de ngo de de zu be je dan nang ge yuna me na se.
I think I want to tell you one sort of one information. Suicide rate now in India, in city, much higher than countryside. Now that's a fact now. Now answer, why it happened like that? In countryside, farmer, they have sort of sense of one community there. So when they also farming, also work, occasionally come together. But in any way, always have the sense of my village. So there is a very strong sense of community. So much less lonely feeling. In big city, even just your neighbor sort of family. But morning, I think best way, they say, hello, good morning. That's all. Then go, then afternoon, you see, when they met, if you say there's some occasion meeting, but then some sort of picnics or some sort of also party, not necessarily very sort of sincere, but more or less on artificial gathering. So that's one example. Now we are social animal. Individual survival depend on the rest of the community. That's a reality. We cannot escape that reality. Therefore, I think ultimately the human connection as a human society, as a human brothers. Sometimes we too much emphasis on mission. Then mission, you get information, but real warmth, human warmth, warm feeling, I think cannot carry by mission. Some nice word, of course, can carry. But that nice word really very sincere or not, big question. So smile, including smile, I usually make some distinction. Smile, or genuine smile, artificial smile, diplomatic smile, sarcastic smile. There are differences, different smile. The sarcastic smile, you may feel angry, because a diplomatic smile may create suspicion. Genuine smile between parent and children. That's genuine smile, isn't it? Like that. So therefore, sometimes I feel the whole society now, or modern society, I feel very existing our education system is very much oriented about material value. Our education, not much talk about our inner value. So the people who come from that kind of education is eventually create materialistic life, materialistic society, materialistic culture. So then the lonely feeling there. The lonely feeling, the remedy of lonely feeling is compassion, friendly, genuine friendship. Friendship depends on trust. Trust depends on sincere sort of sense of concern of others' well-being. Then trust comes. Trust is the basis of friendship. So we are social animals. Friendship is very important. But we felt, if you are rich, plenty of money, you can bring more friend. Or if you have power, you get more friend. This friend is artificial friend, not a genuine human friend. So long your power there, so long your money there, these friends come. When your fortune go like that, then these friends may not come. We need friend. When our fortune go like that, then we need friend. When you go this way, without friend, you can manage. Isn't it? So the artificial friend of money, friend of power, is when you really need a friend, then no longer there. So therefore, I think our whole sort of way of life is something too much materialistic. That also I feel they're lacking in education. I think from Europe, mainly, you see, I think like any other country, in ancient time, education carried by monastery or nunnery. they carry the education, responsibility of the education. Then gradually in the West, the technology, science, then develop. So then traditional education combined with religious thing, not adequate. So separate education institutions started. So at that time, I feel the inner value is concerned, church take care. Then newly developed education institution now care the responsibility about mathematics or all the like these sort of related with material thing. So then at that time I think perhaps quite balanced. Then gradually the influence of religion eventually reduce. Therefore, now the education institution alone have the both responsibility, take care about physical comfort and take care about inner comfort. So that's now lacking. So I'm trying in education field, you should include education regarding inner value. So then education is universal. So the inner value, the teaching or training of inner value based on faith, then will not cover entire sentient being or entire human being. So in India's tradition, secular means respect all religion and also respect non-believer. You see, that I think very suitable now today's world. Out of 7 billion, about 1 billion non-believer. So any teaching, the inner value is concerned, based on religion, then those non-believer, they will not pay much attention. So India's tradition, secular way, respect all religion and also respect non-believer. So I am trying to promote the teaching of inner value according Indian tradition, secular way. So now I feel education very, very important. Now these days I'm usually telling in education, education about hygiene of physical as part of education. So now we need not only hygiene of physical, but hygiene of emotion. Isn't it? I think we are passing through some problem about a problem due to emotion. So now hygiene of emotion should be part of our education. Not talking about heaven or hell or next life. No, just this life. In order to create more peaceful, more harmonious society, then you see these because of the training our mind with reason, not quotation, strictly secular way. So I think if the younger generation, I usually make distinction, generation of 20th century, generation of 21st century. Now 20th century gone. I think 20th century truly become century of violence. Now, 21st century should be a century of peace, not through prayer, but through training of our mind. Like that. So that's my view, trying to introduce existing education field some teaching about moral ethics. That also based on scientific finding, not based on religious belief. Okay. Like that. Now I think a moment rest. Tea. Now here, we enjoy tea. Now you please think, you also, imagination, you also serving some tea. I think, you see, about 10 minutes, we are having tea here, some rest. So some people, you see, who need to go to bathroom, go. Or nearby, if tea shop there, and go. Now, some Europeans now.
My question's related to the last one.
Hmm?
My question's somewhat related to the last question,
Yes.
which is technology is.
Yes.
Hello. My question is related to the last one about technology. It would seem that today's technology is giving us a great opportunity to share your message and your teachings and to unite 7 billion people. But it seems like it's doing the opposite. In fact, it seems that it's doing the opposite. That more groups and more differences are being developed because of technology. It's not just religion and nationality, it's political views and all sorts of different ideas. And some of these ideas are very bad, and it's an effective way of disseminating very bad ideas. What are your thoughts? What can we do differently to use technology to our advantage, to unite people and to spread your message instead of ripping us apart?
I think we cannot blame technology. I don't think technology creates this problem. No, I don't think. The user of technology, that's a human being, and give information in technology or computer, these things, and the radios, televisions, well, these are just an instrument. But real information, we should provide. So I think people ourselves not much pay attention to these things. So, like a television, except some religious teaching. Otherwise, no one, I think, sort of serious discussion about using these societies, sort of, or say the problem which we are facing. More serious discussion, including some psychologists, some scientists. Recently, I met one American. 가서 그것이 아메리카 미식스 토이 뭐 가서디 라도 참 지금 미치. Recently I met one, I think, chancellor or something, or in any way one sort of educationist. I told him, now more talks in television about these as the inner value or these things, and also let some scientists now who found basic human nature is more compassionate, and more compassionate mind is very good for health. These things, some scientists now should educate people in a radio or television or article. I told him, so that's scientific finding, information, scientific base is more convincing. So I think that I think we really now need more effort, because you see the people not much thinking these value, and then use technology, the information morely because of the information just mainly kasata material thing like that, and then whole society more materialistic culture, materialistic life. So the leaders, including religious leader or political leader, they also their main concern is economy and also the national interest. So I feel everything very much related with education, thinking, way of thinking. So you from which country?
United States.
America.
Oh.
I really sort of admire America. America is really the leading nation of free world. Few years ago, I think more than 10, 15 years ago, one occasion when I was in Washington, then I express, I'm not admire American nuclear weapon. I really admire American, the concept of democracy, liberty, freedom. I really admire. So with these sort of principles, First World War, Second World War, I think America really, I think, a tremendous sort of sacrifice to protect democratic value in Germany, in Europe, like that. So, if may I say so, the President Trump, of course, the president of America, so I must respect. But his sort of expression, America first, I feel a little uncomfortable. America, as a leading nation of free world, should talk about global sort of responsibility, I feel.
I agree. It should be humanity first.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Alo, xin mời đầu thành phố Hồ Chí Minh tại mọi người đây đang uống trà.
You know,
Yeah.
number of the education institution in America, and even as far as I know, 2 cities in America. One city with name of City of Kindness, one City of Compassion.
City of Kindness is the Anaheim's in California, and City of Compassion is Louisville in Kentucky.
Oh, So that's wonderful. Not my sort of suggestion. You see, they already developed that. Then, of course, it is my responsibility to full sort of appreciate like that. So the concerned sort of mayor, they told me within the city, they carry more sort of talk about value of kindness and compassion. As a result, students within the city are much more peaceful. No sort of shooting. And then also these students is much sort of enthusiasm to help other people. So these two cities, as far as I know, is an example. The very name of the city, compassion and kindness, then more program within the city school. So some significant result already there. So I'm hoping more and more city, you see, follow that. Then America, I always telling when I met some American friend, what called innovation. Because innovation in technology, America, I think, leading nation, innovation. Now, education field, America should make some kind of innovation, education system. I really feel that. Okay.
Xin mời
Thank
Quyên
you.
ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh nè. Quyên ơi, Quyên. Phu Lệ Quyên ơi. Câu hỏi của Quyên là thưa Ngài, chúng con nên làm gì khi mà
Oh, yes. Yes.
Câu hỏi của Quyên là thưa Ngài, chúng con nên làm gì khi biết mình bị bệnh hiểm nghèo hoặc là bệnh nan y, ví dụ như bệnh ung thư, hoặc là trong nhà có người thân có bệnh như vậy?
Your Holiness, what should we do when we discover we have a serious disease or cancer, or one of our relatives discover serious health problem?
그래서
자 잡고 배나 캔서 저 전에 저 근데 포바하고 저 정소나 한 컨데스 다들 동네 지단도 컨데스 저그랬어. 소소.
yes, that also the Buddhists say the suffering of birth, suffering of old age, suffering of illness, suffering of death. So it is even animal also, I think, in some extent, they also is very much worry about the death. One animal die, the sort of today, Kasuda, Roba.
No, the flock, the group.
Their group, sometimes you see showing sadness like that. So, in some level, as you see, 8th century's Nalanda master stated, when we face some problem, some suffering, then analyze the very nature of that suffering. Through analyze because of the
Analysis.
analyze, there is a way to overcome that suffering. Then no need worry, make effort. If that suffering, no way to overcome, then no use too much worry. It is very practical. So think that way. So how much, as long as you can help, then try your best and make cure that illness. When it comes, you see, no way to overcome, then important is the patient. Peace of mind is important. In that respect, I think believer also is believe God as a Christian. Think God. And believer as a Buddhist, then think the clarity about our mind. The Buddhists call Buddha nature. Think that. And particularly dying person, when you see the death process eventually come, then think the deeper level of, very nature of deeper level of consciousness, mind, that we call clear light. So that's one way. So in any way, we should consider death is part of our life. Then, much easier when actual death comes. Oh, part of my life is sooner or later I have to go that way. If you see, even you see the very word death, something sort of kasota, reluctantly use that. And then when death comes, you really shock. So it is better, like practitioner, daily think death and the process of dying, like that. So therefore, that's and then a person you see who have no sort of faith, and then think, as I mentioned earlier, this is no use, too much worry. The illness come, the better remaining your life, remain more compassionate person and close sort of close feelings way.
No.
Close feeling
Closeness.
your sort of friends. That's much better. Sometimes it is possible. So because of illness, you also usually get more easily irritated than shouting. That's not good. Okay.
Xin mời câu hỏi kế tiếp của chị Minh Phương, Hà Nội. Càng ngày tình trạng gãy đổ trong hôn nhân và có nhiều hơn những ông bố bà mẹ đơn thân nuôi con. Thưa Ngài có lời khuyên nào dành cho những ông bố bà mẹ đơn thân nuôi con và những đứa trẻ không có đầy đủ bố mẹ?
There are more and more couples who break and divorce, and there's many more and more single parents, and children either without mom or without dad. So, what is your advice for those people?
That is difficult to say. I'm monk. No experience to say how to deal that problem. So I don't know. But in any way, because of divorce, the couple. See, it is certainly better, remain couple or marriage. If the marriage becomes something really happy marriage, then long-lasting marriage, that's important. So for that reason, the marriage should not take hurriedly. Many years ago in San Francisco, I met one Christian minister. He usually used to do kasadi.
He serves as a minister for when couples to marry.
Oh, so he told me his usual sort of advice to the couple to going to marry. He usually advised them, no hurry, and you should not sort of take marriage on the level of just a physical attraction, but let both sides know the deeper level of that person's nature, then let develop respect. Not only just a physical attraction. Then, you see, each other very well acquainted and knows, then develop respect, then marry. I think that advice, very practical advice. Otherwise, some American friend, my American friend, I think when 79, my first visit to America, some couple, even with children. Then after a few years, another visit, my friend, another wife, new wife. Then after a few years, again, third wife. I think my friend, really enjoy freedom of sex. So I think we, the couple, should, you see, carry the responsibility, look after children. Marry with children, divorce, not good. Without children, then you may have more freedom. But with children, you should take care, you should think the concern of children. Two-parent divorce, I think, very uncomfortable to children. Okay. Next question.
Câu hỏi kế tiếp xin mời chị Đinh Thị Thành ở đầu thành phố Hồ Chí Minh ạ. Chị Thành ơi. Dạ, câu hỏi của chị Thành là làm thế nào để chúng ta đối diện và vượt qua cái nỗi đau mất mát người thân hoặc là những người ta yêu quý?
Venezuela.
No.
No. Yes.
How should we face? What should we do when we face the loss of a close person or a loved one, and how could we overcome it?
Yes, that also. Debate 가사 debate 체외 이미 삼월에.
No.
민주부터 체외 중에. 가 debate 체외 중에 신 소수지 간일로가 카테드라 동해지기로 하다. 됐다.
So one of the sufferings is, being getting separated from those who you love.
So it is really very sad. But then think, they already is your close friend, already now passed away, no longer there. So then, as I mentioned before, you see, too much sort of worry, no way to bring back. And then, so better to think different way. When my teacher, my tutor, main tutor, who gave me ordination of bhikshu vow, so when he I feel something like solid rock. When he passed away, that solid rock which I can lean, no longer there. So I really feel very sad. But then I think now, due to his death, too much sadness, no use. Better to determined, I must fulfill the late my tutor's wish. So the sad event, instead of bring more sadness, bring more enthusiasm to determination. So those people who you see facing some close friend now no longer, And then should think, if I remain very sad, and if some way that your friend who no longer there, one way to know what is your sort of the situation, that if you too much worry, I think they also feel worry. So in spite of that unfortunate sort of event, you see, you because of that develop some kind of determination. I must fulfill my late friends, you see, wish. I must fulfill their wish. I must try too hard. Then, you see, the other person who now no longer, in some way to know and feel much happier. Okay, that's I do. Okay. Next question.
Xin mời bạn Hà My ạ. Câu hỏi của Hà My ạ. Nên làm gì khi bên cạnh mình là những đồng nghiệp hoặc là người thân hoặc là sếp là người dễ cáu gắt, dễ nóng giận và luôn gây hấn với mình thì mình nên làm gì ạ?
What should we do when we have a colleague, relative, or even boss who are angry, aggressive, and irritated, hot-tempered all time?
Kasa.
수수 레가치 세기 레로이 네레 양지 콜딩에 밀룽 랑부타 지미 카두이네 직직바 사중에 된들 컨데스티 쳐레스카 돈nen지다.
Perhaps here I think we may need some hypocrisy. When I was young, sometimes my teacher is showing more negative face towards me. And behind him, I complain. In front of him, I still respect him. So, if you have some choice to shift to some other jobs, that's your sort of right or your freedom. If you see there's not much choice, in spite of your boss, you see, showing anger or something, but if you get a high salary, then I think you should think about the salary rather than the boss face. So, at a certain sort of the negative attitude from your boss, boss, and then think yourself, if you done something wrong, then you should feel, now I will not commit that kind of work. Good. If you see your boss sort of negative attitude, so without your sort of mistake, then you feel, instead of anger, I think you should feel pityness. The anger, say, due to lack of sort of mental strength, and then showing negative face. If your boss, more wiser, will not take that place. So, instead of anger, I think you should feel more sense of concern or compassionate feeling. I do that. Usually, you see, sometimes we believer, you see, we believe, I mean, we have some idea of certain ghost, right?
No.
Ghost, some negative ghost. And when I was young child, when I passing through some dark sort of passageway in Potala, some my sort of friends say, "Oh, here's some ghost," and then when I walking there, some kind of feeling here. So nowadays, as a result of practice of infinite love towards entire sentient being, So even if there's some sort of, how to say, a harmful spirit, you should feel compassion. They also sort of was the slave of anger, self-centered, and ignorance. So instead of fear or anger, you should feel compassion, pityness. Okay. So you can think your boss, because of the with some basis of anger, then you should change. If your boss is without sort of proper basis, just showing anger, then feel pity. Okay. Like you see, my own case, some Chinese officials criticized me. One occasion, one Chinese official used to describe me as a demon. Then some media people asked me, so some Chinese official describe you as a demon. What do you feel? And my response is, yes, I am demon with horn. See, I take like joke. Right? Nothing. So therefore, you see, when some negative atmosphere happen, they much depend on your own mental attitude. Then no matter how sort of difficult circumstances or hostile atmosphere, you can keep peace of mind. Okay.
Có một câu hỏi của anh chị nào gửi giấy đưa lên á, không có ghi tên, dạ xin chị đứng lên ạ. Đứng lên chào ngài ạ. Câu hỏi của chị là hiện nay ở Việt Nam có rất là nhiều tai nạn hoặc là những người giả vờ để được sự giúp đỡ, nhưng khi mà nếu mà mình không giúp đỡ đó, thì là mình không phải là người tốt, nhưng nếu mình giúp đỡ thì đôi khi mình trở thành một nạn nhân hoặc là mình giúp đỡ nhầm người xấu. Thì xin ngài cho chúng con lời khuyên.
Yes.
In Vietnam, there's many people at the public place pretend to be a handicapped or poor person to seek for help. So I get confused. If I help them, then maybe I just support for the people who pretend. And if I don't help them, then sometimes I don't help the people who need.
No. Vietnam nala zawe di thomlam tindila mi ongbu junjin yin do chingen tinde mangbu yores yang chojin ne gyobu tinde ngune gi ji ongbu junjin ta gyobu tinde yorte di yewa chema to bichin samre di kaso yin do chingen de zolo chik tre shoba ina yang kyanglan dang ge so shi yang ma de nani yang ngune go nge de zolo chik jimbata ya che ding do shi tinde shi ka de sam tang wa.
I think there must be some institution who look after NGO, who look after these because of handicapped people. So if there is some organization, the Quran de Kazore, me organization da Kazore NGO 직세위 있는 공문에다 공부전지 지금도 다 처음에 용말와. 그래서 진들리네 로드셰 엘피게시 롱에즈 나라다 리카셰 가서 공부전지 인도도 신 제위는 인임지당 왔습니다. 그거 서버지는 뜻은 샌드망스데.
So if you could in fact give donations to the NGOs which look after handicapped, disabled people, so that there's no pretension in the streets from these people. Otherwise, if you won't be able to make the distinction between who is really handicapped or not.
Có một câu.
Yes. Yes. No, next question.
Yeah. Xin mời anh CN. Anh đã có một câu hỏi rồi, nhưng mà có một câu hỏi của anh liên quan tới các doanh nhân, mà hôm nay thì không có nhiều doanh nhân hỏi, có một số đối tượng là doanh nhân ở đây, cho nên là mình vẫn chọn câu hỏi của anh là mối quan hệ đúng đắn giữa nỗ lực thành công trong kinh doanh và không bám chấp là gì? Liệu có thành công mà không bám chấp không?
Please stand up. It's your question.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
네. 저거 퀘스천 주시오.
because
Yeah, it's okay. You want him to ask?
yeah.
You can translate.
Yes.
Good morning, Your Holiness. My question is, if at the moment of death one feels only love, but just not love of self or love of family, but love for everyone and everything, is that not enlightenment in their dying moment if they feel only love for all beings, but also existence itself?
그래서
미
좋아.
치외 갑라
좋아.
sorry. 저와 장장 기지 수술 낭미 다 저기 개야와 마셔봐 심지 탐지 내려 간다 탐지를 저외 지 셈버티 셈도스 게데비나 다가랑 the enlightenment 차그여려 말했어 그래서 산게 고방스
as the loving kindness, one category mixed with attachment. So, and also that mainly develop on the as a social, biologically as a social animal, is some kind of loving kindness towards your parent or your friend or your children, like that. These are more mixed with attachment. So it is biased love. Then through training, use fully our intelligence, the value of compassion, harmfulness about the self-centered attitude, and how much useful altruism, analyze. Through that way, when you develop full conviction, loving kindness is truly the source of permanent happiness through reasoning. Then that altruism can extend towards your enemy. Then that compassion is unbiased compassion. That's the compassion which all major religious tradition emphasizes. That's unbiased compassion without mixed with attachment. That's one. Then, at the time of death, there is some practice, and certainly in some tantric teaching. Tantric teaching, it makes differences. The consciousness, while sensorial level consciousness still active. With that, on mental consciousness, that's very, very grosser level. Then dream time, sensorial level consciousness no longer working. But the mental consciousness there, which dream. Some people have this certain, I think due to previous life experience or something. The dream body can separate from this body. I heard some story. So therefore, dream body can separate from this grosser level of body. But then this is something different. Then another level of consciousness without dream, deep sleep. Now scientists also can judge, can tell, watching brain movement. Now bet that person now dreaming. because of eyelid moving. Then they say, now that person dreaming. Without these things, the person at the level of deep sleep, like that. Then there's more deeper level of consciousness, mental consciousness. Now at the time of death, firstly, was the heartbeat stop. Then no longer blood circulation to brain. Then within short period, brain die. Then grosser level of consciousness no longer function. Now very, very, very subtle, in the most subtle level of consciousness. That we call clear light of mind. So at that level, now, at that level, the
Afflictive emotions, negative emotions.
Negative emotion or positive emotion, I think negative emotion, you see, cannot go with that clear light mind. Clear light mind itself very much sort of neutral. So negative emotion cannot combine that. The positive emotion, particularly wisdom, can go side by side. So through practice, the clear light in the most subtle level mind or that consciousness can transform wisdom. So that usually we call Buddha nature. So now combination, the Sanskrit tradition, the first Dharma wheel about the Four Noble Truths. The second Dharma wheel about Shunyata. And then third Dharma wheel, one part mentioning about the clear light. So we can say the second Dharma wheel, as the Shunyata is Yugyavasa.
No. And the second turning of the wheel of Dharma teaches that of the object clear light, emptiness.
Then third Dharma wheel, subject clear light.
No.
So combine these two. Subject clear light. That's a Buddha nature. That's nature also emptiness, empty. So here combine the essence of second Dharma wheel teaching and third Dharma wheel teaching combined. So the people, some experience during Kasoda, alive. And particularly, you see, some experience, dream time. Then dream time, if you concentrate here, then much easier to absorb the dream time, some grosser level of consciousness. So dream time, meditate here, then they're much easier to develop clear light in dream time. Okay. So through this kind of practice, you yourself familiarize these things. Then at the time of death, there are 8
Dissolution processes.
Dissolution process. The first level, Mikyutabu.
At the first dissolution process, you have this appearance, which is called the mirage-like appearance.
Then
next comes the smoke-like appearance. And then the firefly-like appearance.
Then Mamitala Batabu. Tati Mamitala Dukes Batabu, the Chukojimido. Say, Marmidus, Kazuta, to Shashavina, the Malhala, she does Malhangi, to Ajo Pesdirisha. 그래서 그때 상당히 야고도가 직사는 이게 가나 매지도 샤네 디 나와도 봐도 타르시베 거둘러 아니 아등에 디 truth 가사데 가나 매지도 디도 봐 나와도 봐 트루시베 거둘러 아니 마음에 달라 봐도 말항에 대대하지 드네 봐 팀이온데 아니 어때리 다시 봐라고 디디 팀 살았다 다드네 좀 신도 차와 아니 라고 루르웨 루스음지 팀살에 제라 아니 또 동보시가 말다 얘는 동보숨사 동보시사의 연구를 동보당보 나와 동보니버 체바 동보숨버 녀톱 되는 동보시부 탐자 동보 외세사 다 도스트고도 나 지주시
And so, the fourth stage of that dissolution is called like a lamp, a glow, reddish glow of lamp. So this happens after the third one, which is the firefly-like appearance. So as the firefly-like appearance kind of becomes subtler and subtler in your experience, then the next stage you have to kind of be mindful that the next stage is going to be this reddish glow-like appearance of a lamp. And so then after that, following that fourth stage, what happens is you go through the four empty states at which all the gross kind of elements, gross appearances and experiences have completely dissolved, and therefore you go through these four stages which are called whitish appearance, reddish increase, and then blackish near attainment, and then finally you have this experience of the all empty state.
Now that's now clear light. All grosser level or subtle level of consciousness with energy now completely dissolved. So now people, they command, they now do remove those chayundu, any tuni comyatri.
And so,
tuni combe, they got chamber those mutin debit holler, any veseshatuna, any tuni quaru, so dry.
And so as you begin, or this dissolution process starts within you, beginning with the mirage-like appearance and so forth, what you should be able to do is try to meditate on emptiness right from the beginning of this dissolution process. And so that you are mindful of emptiness as you go through the rest of the stages, beginning with this mirage-like appearance. And therefore, what happens is when you actually reach the final clear light of death, or the final dying stage, when your experience of emptiness would become more and more profound.
So that's the process of death. Then that clear light, as so long clear light remain there. Brain dead already. My late tutor, next 13 days, body remain very fresh. So local doctor come, check. They sort of described dead, already dead. But body still remain fresh. So some cases, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some cases, one case, 4 weeks, body remain fresh. So now some scientists now already start some project to test. Is a such person, or clinically dead, but body still remain fresh. So now problem is, who going to have that kind of sort of situation? We don't know. So I cannot ask, please you die. We want to test whether you see that person can remain that or not. Nobody knows. So that's the problem. Otherwise, now some equipment already in Dharamsala. The one a great scholar and a good practitioner in South India, he passed away. I received information. After 5 days, his body still remained fresh. So then, immediately I asked the here, Kasoda, small clinic, you see,
hospital.
They have some sort of equipment remain there. So I told them, they sent some person who trained how to put these wires on the dead body's head. So they done. The next, at least about, I think, 1 week, more than 1 week, they already, then you see, have the opportunity to experiment. Then the result in America, one scientist, you see, reading. So later he told me, oh, some special significance there. So now he already used to start one sort of
Project.
a project to test such case. So therefore, that's we have the explanation. The grosser level of consciousness dead, as soon as brain dead. But the subtle level of consciousness still remain in the body. So therefore, body remain fresh, like that. So then, as soon as that subtle level of consciousness separate from this body, then next life start. Complicated?
Well, it's very complicated. I was wondering if you don't have scholarly input or practices with regards to the dying phase, should one give themselves openly to their intuitive notions of righteousness, goodwill, oneness, all of the concepts that you teach, to surrender and openly die with love in your heart for all beings in existence?
Kasa.
Tenjegi ta chik jangbe yonde ta na jalum chik tongni da tenje kol jani sungpa yin jangbe yonde tenje megen chola an chik sangbu yonde chik mi yabu chik.
So I think best thing is altruism. Oh, just you see, think the value of altruism at the moment. You see, think about warm-heartedness, infinite loving kindness. Just remember that.
No.
That's truly guarantee your next life will be very good life. If shunyata, you can think something about shunyata is best. Kasota, very good. But without that, just altruism, think. So my main sort of daily practice and my prayer is, so long space remain, I will remain in order to serve other people, other sentient being. Then my body, speech, mind, dedicated well-being of others. So that prayer, that determination, I'm 100% sure when I die, I can think these because of the eight stages of kasara.
Stages of dissolution.
Dissolution, I'm not very sure. Intellectual level, I know these things, but actual sort of experience, if I died tonight, I'm not very sure. But at the time of dying, my sort of mental attitude of bodhicitta and shunyata is 100% sure I can practice with these things. So that's a guarantee my next life, something useful life. That I'm 100% sure. But these not come from Dalai Lama's name, but my own practice. Over 50, 60 years, as far as shunyata is concerned, I think more than 60 years, since my age 13, 14, I developed some interest about shunyata. Then think, study, think. Then last, I think, about 40, 50 years, more serious thinking. Now I have some sort of a deeper understanding as far as Shunyata is concerned. Quite sort of the deeper understanding. Then Bodhicitta, with help of Kasashukti, Shantadeva's book, last, I think, when I develop some kind of understanding about Shunyata, but then I feel, Bodhicitta, altruism, rather difficult. But then think. Nowadays, the altruism also become part of my mind, my life. So, Bodhicitta, understanding of Shunyata combined, and I have now quite sort of also the confidence. I can die very peacefully. At least, you see, the other day I saw on television, the American depression meant.
Many American, elderly American people are taking, antidepressant pills.
Oh, then I felt I never touch these sort of medicine, and also sleeping pill, Marve.
No, sleep.
9 hours sleep. No problem. I think these, I feel, peace of mind. Peace of mind comes not through darkness, but through sort of understanding the ultimate reality. These things are Shunyata, and then altruism. Truly, I think immense help, like that. So I have one joke. You see, I think 2 years ago, when I visited Korea, Dharamsala,
northeast in India.
In India, one Indian politician from Delhi joined with me. So then within a few years, we become very close friends. So one day morning, when we met, he asked me, how is your rest, including sleep? And I told him, sleep, always 9 hours sleep, every night, no problem. Then, from early morning, about 3:30, I wake up. Then some meditation, at least 3-4 hours meditation. That sharpening my mind, so that I can easily cheating other people. Then his answer, immediately his answer, he can sleep only 6 hours, so he cannot cheat other people. very nice joke, like that. So therefore, I think peace of mind, not just prayer or something. You see, through training, last now, as I mentioned earlier, 40, 50, 60 years practice. Now I realize that quite satisfactory result develop through these few decades practice, serious thinking, like that. So we all have the same sort of potential, same mind. Okay. So the question is, pay more attention for study. Without a study, as a Buddhist, you see Buddham Shanam Gajami, Dhammam Shanam Gajami, Sangham Shanam Gajami, without knowing what's Dharma, there's not much meaning. So we should know what's Dharma. Dharma produced Buddha and Sangha. So the key thing is Dharma. Dharma is two types. One, because of cessation, Trevechane.
So one is the true cessation that you develop by abandoning certain negative emotions.
And
the other aspect of Dharma is that the path, the true path, which realizes emptiness directly.
Like that? Okay. Sorry. Now next question.
Thưa Ngài, câu hỏi kế tiếp là câu hỏi của con ạ. hỏi
Yes.
con. Sức cuốn hút của Tây Tạng về con người, văn hóa và tâm linh đối với thế giới đang ngày càng mạnh mẽ. Vậy thì hai câu hỏi là điều gì đã tạo nên sức cuốn hút đó và những cái giá trị nào là quan trọng đối với người Tây Tạng trong cuộc sống ạ?
Your Holiness, Miss Hoàng Thắng is a Vietnamese journalist, and her question is
뭐라나? 저거에 뭐라나?
Oh, I see.
and
Journalist.
No, journalist.
Yes.
yeah. And her question is Tibetan people, cultures, and spiritual values attracts more and more the people in this world. And what is cái thứ hai là gì? Tức là cái giá trị của người Tây Tạng càng what is the value, the important value in life of Tibetan, which can inspire the people in this world?
I think Tibetan, before Buddhism reached Tibet, we, like nomads and more or less warrior. If ancient Tibetan culture remain, then I think Tibet will not occupy it by some other people. Very tough. Since Buddhism came to Tibet, we become more gentle. We become more compassionate. So the other people take that opportunity. So sometimes I teasing Indian friend, we lost our freedom because of your sort of teaching of ahimsa, non-violence. So in any way, since 8th century, I think firstly 7th century, Tibetan emperor inspired very close link with Chinese emperor, Tang dynasty, through marriage. And I think first sort of influenced Tibetan become Buddhist, showing interest about the Buddha Dharma, mainly through marriage of Chinese emperor. Then, the 8th century, the Tibetan emperor, Chusung Tse, now he then, you see, seriously thinking the best teacher of Buddha Dharma. And he found Nalanda institution is the best sort of place, best institution. So he invited 8th century, around 8th century, the best teacher was the Shantarakshita and Nalanda institution. So he, monk and great scholar, philosopher, Madhyamika philosopher, and then great logician. You see, so the Nalanda tradition, even Buddha's own tradition, some Nalanda master rejected. So is the Shantarakshita, great logician. That person invited by Tibetan emperor, 8th century. He, in spite old age, he accepted the invitation. He came to Tibet and he started teaching, translation. Then eventually, over 300 volumes translated from mainly Sanskrit and also Pali. Karedi? Okay, thank you. So he taught us the Nalanda tradition, not just faith, but thorough investigation and experiment. So therefore, the Nalanda tradition, I think 9th century around. From there, then Nalanda gradually ruined. But Nalanda teaching we kept over 1,000 years. So therefore, I think whole Tibetan sort of tradition, I usually make a distinction: Buddhism and Buddhist culture. Tibetan, including Tibetan Muslim, they very much in the spirit of Buddhist culture. Over 400 years, some Muslim come from Ladakh, come to Lhasa, and they settle. During 15th Dalai Lama, 400 years ago, 15th Dalai Lama provided land for construction of Muslim community. So non-sectarian sort of attitude already there. So in any way, Tibetan culture, very much the Buddhist culture. So since childhood, you see, we always say, don't kill insect. And we always pray for entire sentient being. That become part of our culture and part of our life. So Tibetan, generally speaking, I think very compassionate sort of people. Because of our culture, it's more compassionate culture. Then, so after we came to India as a refugee, so we joined modern society. Since our culture, our Buddhist faith, very much based on logical approach. So now we can easily sort of discuss with a modern scientist. Because we thoroughly train logical approach. Every Buddhist sort of the important point we can explain, not relying on Buddha's own quotation, but through reasoning. So this very room, several occasions, discuss with scientists. So basically, scientists are non-believer. And 4 fields mainly: cosmology, then neurobiology, then physics. Now in physics, quantum physics, according to Nalanda tradition, we know much better, much deeper than modern quantum physicists. Quantum physicists, they know up to nothing objectively exists. They know that. Then they say, they finally observer, it depends on observer. Now the next question, where is observer? No answer. In Nalanda tradition, as far as observer is concerned, over 3,000 years, much sort of analyzed where is observer. The non-Buddhist school of thought, yes, there is independent observer. Buddhists say, no independent absolute observer. So like that. So therefore, the quantum physics is one Indian scientist, nuclear physicist. Now he once told me the quantum physics in the West, something new. In this country, over 2,000 years, that concept already developed. One Indian, a nuclear physicist, he told me like that. It's true. Then psychology. As far as the psychology is concerned, 2 Americans now. You also American?
No, Australian.
Australian, oh. Okay. Actually, you can belong, because you belong Western. So I can say the modern psychology, compare ancient Indian psychology, modern psychology looks like a kindergarten level. Indian psychology highly developed. But in this country, India, now these ancient Indian sort of knowledge, they completely neglected. So only we Tibetan, in a way, something like a prison. you see, those Himalayan mountains and the northern part, Karsa, Kangri Chik Sarvine.
Kunlun, sir.
Ka, Kunlung,
Kunlun,
Ka.
Kunlun, Shilutano.
Oh, another sort of mountain. So, so the snow mountain, like wall. So we remain inside like prisoner. But we kept, so we have nothing to do, so except study. So therefore, so
we can't even produce a needle. In Lhasa, people used to produce some kind of nail, which if you hit a hammer on it, you're not sure whether it would bend or not.
So like that. So therefore, but I think Tibetan, I can say, quite brilliant mind because of cold climate, not like Vietnam. So I think, utilize our sort of cold climate sort of the brain, I think fully. So now today, ancient Nalanda sort of knowledge we kept intact. So these days, I'm teaching Indian. Historically, you Indian, our teacher, our guru, we are student. But now today, just opposite. The student of ancient Indian thought now become the only the source of ancient Indian knowledge. Modern Indian, nothing. So therefore, the Tibetan culture, Tibetan way of life, very much very much influenced by Buddhist compassionate culture. Although we are non-vegetarian, and particularly Tibetan in northern part of Tibet, cold climate, no vegetation, no fruit, nothing, only meat. Milk, butter, like that. Next question.
Còn nhiều thời gian không chị? Có một số câu hỏi các anh chị đưa lên nhưng mà câu hỏi liên quan tới tu tập cho nên là chắc là ngày mai mình sẽ có thời gian mình hỏi về tu tập ha. Câu hỏi kế tiếp là của chị chị Hương ở Sydney có tham gia trong đoàn này. Tức là trong cái cuộc sống hiện nay đang rất cạnh tranh thì làm cách nào để có thể tìm thấy sự bình an trong tâm ạ?
In this in this modern competitive world, how can we find peace in all competition?
Yes, it is true. Materialistic life, and mainly thinking about money and
living standards.
So too much competition.
The situation.
Without competition, I think without competition, the progress also then difficult. I think in our own case, when we study, when we carry the logical approach, very much competition there. So that's very helpful to further develop our knowledge. So similarly, in materialistic life, also competition itself good, but the way carry the competition, you should try be top. That sense of competition is right. Then another sense of competition, in order to reach top, create some problem other. That is wrong. So you yourself, as you try to become top and ensure I mean, in order to show other people, should make more effort, reach to top. That's good. You try to become example to other, like student, among your sort of student, classmate. You say, more effort. That's right. That's good. These things, I think, related with basic mental attitude, more compassionate attitude, and try to become best. Some sense of competition there, it's the right one. Okay. Then next.
Câu hỏi của chị Tú Anh là, xin mời Tú Anh. Xin Ngài cho con hỏi là những đứa trẻ lúc bé thơ sống trong những gia đình bị bạo hành thì làm sao để giúp cho những đứa trẻ đó khi lớn lên thoát khỏi những ám ảnh bạo lực để có thể sống bình thường trong cuộc sống ạ?
Yes, please.
Children who live in a family with violent behavior, which have an effect when they grow up. So what could we do to help them?
부 중중간에 미장 나로를 지 가서 그전 독주치대 미장 나로네 파마 빈자 독주치대 인기를 차론치교 된줄 지금 마음바나 지야 전부 차도 좀 로봇이 다도 보관했죠.
Yes, there is one problem. Children, as I mentioned earlier, according to scientific sort of research, basic human nature is more compassionate. Now here, let's say, one occasion, meeting with scientists. Now there, one scientist, now firstly, show us cartoon. Firstly, one child, infant child, 4-month-old, language not yet developed. And that such infant child, as one cartoon show that child. In that cartoon, first part, 2 children play together with smile. And that cartoon, seeing by that infant child, smiling. I also there. Enjoy that infant child. Then next cartoon, you see 2 children, negative attitude, each other. So when that cartoon, seeing by the infant child itself, very negative attitude. So that they say, basic human nature is we love compassion, we love sense of friendship, we don't like the negative thing. Then more important, some scientists say, constant anger and fear is actually eating our immune system. And then the constant sort of because of thinking about compassion, very good for our immune system, in order to maintain immune system. That's now scientists say. But in spite that, now our society is full of negative emotion. Why? As I already mentioned, education system is something lacking. So, children, young age like that, human nature is very fresh. And once join school, nothing talking about these inner value, only about it, material value, these things. And news also, you see, always talk about external things, not much talk about internal thing. So whole society, materialistic society. So therefore, so education is key factor. Then I think the children in the family, a little bit negative atmosphere or negative emotion, then I think neighboring family also may have some sort of, kasuta.
Responsibility.
Some,
Responsibility.
I think some opportunity. I think when I come to Lhasa, then formally, officially, not yet announced as a Dalai Lama. So the officials, which kasuta, which
accompanied me.
Accompanied with me. So I remember one day the regent wanted to see me. So I not much desire go there. The another tent, you see, usually the people, you see, give me sweet. So I often go that tent. No, very reluctant to go the regent's
Tent.
the tent like that. So therefore, you see, children who's in the home of their family, not very sort of compassionate one, then I think neighbor try to show more compassionate attitude and give some sweet. Then I think the children sort of mind, although in their own sort of house lacking these things, but and mentally feel, oh, my neighbor, you see, look after me, or taking care of me, then that at least one way to keep warm-heartedness in the children's mind. So the children's mind, very delicate, so very, very important, provide love, very essential. So I always telling, as a first teacher to me about loving kindness is my mother. Our mother never show angry face. Always very, very kind, not only her own children, but one occasion, some starvation in neighboring state. So many beggars come. So one day, some beggar come, and then my mother weeping, crying. And all the bread in our small kitchen, all bread, my mother give them. So, very, very kind mother. My father not like that. So I love most towards my mother. My father, sometimes I have some complaint. Like that. So therefore, I really feel first teacher of loving kindness is my mother. So they, at young children, young age, the family provide them love, affection, very essential. If unfortunately lacking in their own house, then neighbor should should make some kind of subsidized way.
Let it come as a replacement.
Oh, no. That's how I feel. Okay. Now, last question.
Dạ, câu hỏi cuối cùng chắc xin mời chị Hải hỏi.
What?
I have one question myself.
Yes.
How can we know that we always stand for right things? Recently in Vietnam, there's one Vietnamese little girl who lived in Japan. She was raped and killed very cruelly. And the parent called the community for an append of sentence to death. to death for the suspected criminal. And in Vietnam, we are split into opinion. One group believe that criminal should be eliminated by sentence to death, and another group not supporting this idea, because if we support for the death of a human being, we created bad karma. So what is your advice, Your Holiness?
Vietnam la zai tan promotion shi Vietnam gi promotion shi tan nyo la chin du kunzu de zayim chi chen ani tama sevres zayim chi be ma se ta dil ten in Vietnam na la mi so gi samzu ni yu gus chi gi tan de second di zai chue bi na ani so do dang res ni che na ya de so do dang res ni chi yu do ani cho shen ne mi ga je gi de so do dang ya de mi so do dang se de ge ya wo ma re laying in Basaya Chres, the Bani Ngutosti, and the Tolachik Consucarianas.
Câu hỏi của em là làm thế nào để mình luôn luôn biết là mình làm cái điều tốt, điều thiện trước những cái câu chuyện mà rất là chia rẽ, ví dụ như là chuyện em bé Nhật Linh bị hiếp và bị giết chết rất là tàn bạo, thì bố mẹ em có kêu gọi cộng đồng là ký một cái bản để đề nghị là tử hình cái người bị nghi ngờ là tội phạm. Thì có người thì ủng hộ, có người thì không, người thì không ủng hộ bởi vì không muốn tạo nghiệp. Thì lời khuyên của ngài là gì?
Now this rape, rape somewhere.
No.
Rape. Now in India also now, and very young girl, rape. So these, firstly, I think, because of James said it, but there were
So raping somebody is, I mean, a very a grave physical, unwholesome action.
There are 10 non-virtues. Physical level, 4. Raping is one of them. But then, Solen Sonja said that Lumbi Yutim the Pesha conditioner that did
So to give a death sentence, maybe it has to do with the law of the nations.
Oh, I think it is better to follow the countries because of the
law, legal system.
Oh, the Chevarajik Tani Chevina, Namanda, Dijarada, Metropo Washibuchi, and the Koranga the Robotica and me 7 at Chevry. And the Timble Tuche, she do in Korantisa, that Timble Tuni, Chevy, Shingen, that's a session, Shigen, Shisarche, so San Homaris, that chick Sam ever taught any. The Cornotos on Console, ya took down Shapentos came and do the
And so, from the religious point of view, His Holiness had one friend, and who, I think one of his near and dear ones was killed by some people, and so because of that, some people had told him that he should actually take those culprits to the legal system. And but then, as a practitioner, he himself said that the dead person won't come back even if he takes these culprits to the law. And so, moreover, the people who are these culprits would suffer a lot, and so he found there is no use taking them to the legal system for prosecution.
So
So maybe in this case, the rape case that happened in Japan with the young Vietnamese, perhaps you need to deal it through the legal system.
So, thank you now. Last question is raping Shasta.
Yes. So the last question actually had to do with rape.
Thank you. See you again tomorrow.